Hello and welcome back to Underdark Cellars. We're so excited to have you here for the first episode of 2024. This month is actually dedicated to all things Crescent City by you Sarah J. Maas fans out there. This is in celebration of the third book, House of Flame and Shadow, coming out at the end of January. We're going to kick things off with our favorite fauns, veggie burger and fries. This is completely plant-based. It's totally delicious, so we'll go ahead and dive right in. Alright, so we're actually going to start by making vegan mayo by combining a cup of soy milk, 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, a teaspoon and a half of Dijon mustard, some garlic powder, salt, and we're going to blend that together with our immersion blender, and then we're going to add 2 cups of a neutral oil. I did a cup at a time, and make sure that's fully emulsified, and it'll come together really quickly. This is actually the most success I've had with a mayonnaise in general, so we're just going to store this in the fridge and let it chill while we work on everything else. And this is a red wine ketchup. It's amazing. I'll link the recipe down below, or you can check out my lamb video and see how I made it there. Alright, now we're going to work on the veggie burger itself. So this requires 1 small white onion. We're going to slice in half and then peel. And then I like to cut 2 horizontal lines across my onion. This helps the dice be a little more even, in my opinion. And then we're just gonna dice our onion as usual. Looks nice and even to me. Moving on to our green onion, we are going to slice and roughly chop 3 green onions and set those aside. Alright, now we're going to get into the meat of our burger by tackling our mushrooms. So I'm going to separate the stalks from the mushroom caps, and then I'm going to wash my mushroom caps. There's always a little bit of dirt up in those gills, and you don't want to eat that. And then we're going to dry those and transfer them to our cutting board, and we're going to slice these and then do a rough chop. These will reduce down when we cook them, so we don't have to worry about getting it too small, but we do want it to still have some texture. I'm going to set aside 3/4 of a cup for our recipe, and then I'm going to store the rest in a paper towel lined glass container in the fridge. This will help keep them dry so that I can use them in omelets and they won't get slimy. Now we're going to chop a couple tablespoons of parsley. I separate it from the stalks, and then I bundle it in my fingers, and then I make a couple chops one way, and then I'm going to take the bundle, rotate it again, and then chop the other way, and this gets a nice fine even chop on my herbs. Now this is Juniper's veggie burger and fries, so we are going to work on the fries portion of this video. We're going to wash our 4 russet potatoes. We're going to peel those potatoes, and then once they have all been fully peeled, we are going to slice our potatoes into matchsticks and soak them in water. So to cut it into matchsticks, I cut off each end of the potato, and then I slice 3 slices, so the potato is cut into 4 pieces, and then I cut those sections into matchsticks. This will result in fries that aren't super thick like a steak fry. They resemble more of like a traditional French fry. And then we're going to soak those for about 20 minutes in some salt water, and this will help release starches, so when we bake our fries, they will be crispier. Now back to the burger, we are going to mash a 15.5 ounce can of pinto beans. This will make up the majority of the meat of our burger. I'm just going to take a potato masher and break them up until there's no whole beans left intact. Alright, science time. So when you are cooking a traditional beef burger, the proteins form bonds that keep the burger from falling apart. Since we are working with a plant-based burger that does not have those same proteins, we are going to need an egg replacer to serve as a substitute binder. This will keep it from falling apart. So we're going to use 1.5 teaspoons of egg replacer and 2 tablespoons of water. Alright, now we are going to drain the fries. It's been plenty of time, and we're going to put them back in the bowl they were in before. And before we transfer them to that foil-lined baking sheet, we're going to add some salt and about a half cup of vegetable oil. I added a little more here. We're going to toss them together, and we are then going to transfer them to the baking sheet, and then I'm going to just add some fresh ground black pepper to the top of this before I pop it in the oven. I baked these fries at 400 degrees for 1 hour and 15 minutes. Alright, it's garlic time, so we're going to use the flat side of our knife to smash the cloves and make the peels easier to remove. And then once those are removed, we're going to put some salt down on our cutting board. This helps, again, remove excess moisture and results in a finer mince. Then we're going to thinly slice each clove, kind of pushing one into the knife with the other clove, and then we're going to go over this in a rocking motion with our knife, maybe 8-12 times until we get a really fine mince that we're happy about, and we're going to set that aside. Alright, now that our prep work is done, let's cook this. So in a saucepan over medium heat, we're going to heat like a tablespoon of oil, and we're going to add our garlic and onion, and we're going to stir this together and saute this for about 3 minutes to 5 minutes until it's softened and a little yellow. So at this point, we're going to, it looks pretty good right here, it's releasing a lot of water. We're going to add the mushrooms in along with the green onion and some cumin, and we're going to stir this together and cook it on medium-high heat for about 5 minutes until the mushrooms start to golden up a little bit. It'll develop a little bit of a fond on the bottom of the pan. That's totally fine, don't worry about it. It's not burning, it's just, that's how cooking vegetables over high heat is. But at this point, once it starts to golden up, we're going to transfer this into our bean and egg replacer mixture. And we're going to set this aside for just a minute to let it cool before we add any more of our ingredients. Yeah, see how hot that is? I don't want to touch that with my hands. So I'm going to mix this with a spatula, and when it's cooled, so where it's no longer steaming, we're going to add in the parsley, some salt, and some more fresh ground black pepper. And we're going to mix this together, and we're going to set it aside to cool a little bit further because I just don't want to scald my hands working on the patties. And then we're going to work on the toppings for our burgers. So we're going to really, really thinly slice some white onion about a knife's width and just press down and get some good onion slices. Transfer those to a plate, and then we're going to slice some thick slices of our tomato. Beef steak or heirloom tomatoes are not in season and not available in my area, so I just got some fine ripened tomatoes. And then I like butter lettuce on my burgers. I think it has a really nice flavor and texture, but I also think it's very aesthetically pleasing. So we're going to do this. Make sure you wash your lettuce and dry your lettuce. You can press it down a little bit just to make sure you get all the dirt. It's okay if it crunches a little, but we just don't want dirt on our food. Now that our prep is done, let's cook. So in a skillet over medium-high heat, we're going to put some non-stick avocado oil and press our patty down, and then we're going to add about a tablespoon of canola oil just to help crisp the edges. After about 3 to 5 minutes, we're going to flip our patty, and then we're going to let it cook again on the other side for about 3 to 5 minutes. If you need to use 2 spatulas, do it. I highly recommend it when working with veggie burgers. Again, it doesn't have that same protein bonds, so it's going to fall apart a little bit, but you can help minimize it. I'm going to top this with a slice of vegan cheese and let it cook for about a minute on low before I remove the lid and transfer it to a plate to rest. Alright, it's time for assembly. So I chose a whole grain, high protein, vegan hamburger bun. I feel like our girl Juniper would love that, and we're going to add the vegan mayo to both halves of the bun. This will help the bun from getting soggy. To that, we're going to add a heaping of our butter lettuce. She is a faun after all. We gotta layer up on those veggies, and then we're going to aesthetically place our tomatoes on top of the lettuce, and then on top of that we're going to put our burger patty and the cheese down, along with some onions and pickles on the top bun. I know, you know, she doesn't have cheese in the book, but to be fair, vegan cheese is not available. And then we're going to serve this with fries and some of that red wine ketchup that I had made earlier. And there we have it. I'm just going to top this with a little bit of parsley for the aesthetics. But this is so delicious. I think Juniper would love this. Look, okay, I had my doubts about the vegan burger, but I will say that the char on the outside was fantastic. I think the mouthfeel, thanks to the mushrooms and the beans, had a very meaty texture. It was very enjoyable to chew. It had a very good chew to it. I think the flavor was great. It was very neutral, very mild flavor, which, I mean, when you're working with mushrooms and beans, it's going to be mild, right? But this is very enjoyable. But I also had the thought that this is incredibly accessible for people who might not have those Beyond Meat patties or the Impossible the meat alternatives available to them. Those are very expensive, and this is a very budget-friendly way of integrating more plant-based foods into your diet. The fries are always a hit. Of course, the ketchup is always a hit, but this burger was really, really good. I think our girl Juniper would have loved this. I do think she would have loved that Violife cheese. I used the cheddar Violife cheese. I have been done wrong by other vegan cheeses, so I was pleasantly surprised by this one. But I think I'll definitely make these again in the future. Well, with that being said, thank you for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Stay tuned for more Crescent City treats coming this month. Very excited for that. And if you have any comments, leave them down below. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer, but please like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, all that good stuff, and we will see you next time, adventurers. Goodbye.